Well, yeah, you're definitely not on that side.
Oh, wait, let me change it. Oh,
It's
there
all
we
right.
go.
I'll change it. Thank you. Know your place. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been a bit of a manic weekend, but yeah, it's all right. It's not too
Yeah, that's okay. You're smiling. Everyone's smiling.
Got to
It's all
smile.
good.
Life is worth living. If you don't smile, what's the point?
Everything's good. Getting ready for the Easter holidays.
Ugh.
Nice week. Last week for the kids being at school, so there'll be no rushing around in the morning, so that'll be nice.
I think you must be the only parent that is happy that their child is on holiday.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't mind the kids being home.
Most parents are like, send them to school 365 days a year.
No, my boys are good. Like, they're good. At the best of times.
Well, we
I
have,
know, I know. Sometimes when Rob rings me, there's carnage going on in the house, but
yeah, that you cause.
not all the time. But yeah, but other than that, no, everything's been sweet. Everything's good at the moment.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Sarah,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, she's really good.
Good.
We're just at the moment we're just making sure Reese is all right. Because there's been a bit of a change with living situations.
Oh, okay.
So he's planning on moving in on his own,
Ooh, big
which is a
step.
big step. Yeah, it's a big step for a 19-year-old. And I think, mentally, we need to assess that mentally, is he in the right place? I'm not saying he's got any like mental issues, but it is a big thing to go from living with family
Yeah.
to suddenly go in and live on your own. Is a totally different
Yeah.
environment completely. Do you know what I mean? So we just want to be sure
Okay.
that he's all right. So yeah, so there's a lot of that going on, like back and forward talks, and just seeing where he's at with everything.
Bless him.
So yeah.
Well, we have a lovely lady in the green room. Katie has come on to talk to us about her struggles,
Mhm.
and give us her story. We are possibly going to have Lee pop on, but her mum and dad have come down to visit from Scotland, so she may pop in and out. She can't guarantee it. I said that's fine. But yeah, without further ado, I will bring up Katie, and we can get started.
Hello.
Yes, there we
Right,
go.
my freaky darlings, how are we?
I'm all
Good,
right. How are
good.
you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. You all right, Nando, being at the bottom?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've been demoted again, haven't I? Like,
It's because the beautiful guests go up the top.
Oh, well, what can I say?
so if we're talking about people being beautiful at the top, then really we should have.
Away we go.
There we
Uh-oh.
go.
Cool.
There
Yeah.
we go.
No, we should. You are right. You are right. There we go. Yeah, he needs to know his place really.
Uh,
So we've got a few people in the room. We've already had a few comments as well by the looks of it. So Oliver's in the room, James is in the room, Cheerful Honeybee, Lucky Colourful Shirt, Abby, the Mad Wecker, Yvonne Dickinson. So yeah, we've got a few people. Some of the comments I will put up on screen. Oliver, hi Rob. I don't want to come on the live, but with what happened to me in 2022, my mental health took a nosedive and I found myself facing certain darkness. But you have always kept me in touch and really helps. Your advice and kind words have always kept me going, and this is the reason this podcast is important to lots of people, and I urge people to share their stories. Thank you, Oliver. James has left no. Rob, at Christmas, you saved my life by giving me the advice and contact numbers I needed to get help. This is why your channel does really well. I hope people understand how good you are. Cheerful has said, you, Nando, and Chris have helped so many in this community, and it's great to see, even when other channels just used you to piggyback. You keep going. Well done, guys, you're all amazing. Thank you very much. Lucky Colourful Shirt. put, you guys are brilliant, and Rob, all the extra work you do behind the scenes is a true testament to what a great man you are, helping others that you don't even know. Keep it up, all of you. Blimey. Abby's put, Rob, you helped me at the weekend with a serious problem I was having and gave me some great advice. Thank you for everything you do for this community. You're a real hero. I don't know where Mad Wecker is, but she says good morning.
Hello. I think we've even got Japan in the house at the moment.
Hey, Big Rob. Hope you're well. I am well. Thank you very much. Hey, Nando. Yvonne Dickinson sends a smiley face. Then it's nice to see you, Katie. Then we have the lovely Irene here from Spooky Japan. Welcome, Irene. The Mad Wecker put amazing comments, and now I'm going to bring up the other late person to the show. Someone else that can't tell the time.
No, I had family problems I had to sort out with my younger brother, which took a little bit of time to sort out. So I apologise for being late.
No, you don't need to apologise. You have a valid reason. But Nando's reason for being late wasn't so valid.
Why did have you lost some in your hand or something? Why you got that stretchy thing in your hand?
It's stress relief, isn't it?
Is that okay? If that's what you want to call it, okay.
No, it was. I knew I was seeing Rob tonight, and I was feeling stressed already. So I'm just like,
right, yeah, okay.
So you're right.
Hiya.
Hello.
So,
hello, chap. Sorry, carry on.
Hello, Tracy. We'll say hello to her just in case she hears us 10 minutes later.
She's not very well at the minute, so.
Oh, is she not?
No.
Send her loves and hugs. Hopefully she feels better soon.
Yeah, she's having a bit of a bad day today, to be honest.
Is it anything serious? Is it?
Fibromyalgia just flared up again.
Oh, bless her.
Yeah, so she got antibiotics through the post today, which is good. For her legs. Yeah, cellulitis, sorry. Yeah, but she suffers from fibromyalgia as well. So, yeah.
Oh, bless her. Well, we love you, Tracy, and we hope you get better soon. So, Katie, the floor is yours, my love.
Okay, what would you like to know?
It's open forum. You tell us what you want to tell us, what you feel comfortable with telling us. Okay.
Right. Well, I've suffered with mental health for most of my life. I didn't really get diagnosed properly till I was in my adulthood, as a lot of people will probably understand that I've been in the same kind of situation. And then in 2012, I got diagnosed with frontal lobe epilepsy as well. So that was another thing that kind of added to my burden. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a struggle. I got diagnosed with EUPD in 2014. Sorry, I've written things down because otherwise I'll forget. Right. I've had depression, like I say, for most of my life. And when I first saw a psychiatrist, they said, no, it's reactive depression. And like, okay, so what's reactive depression? Nobody told me anything. And I was suffering with that on and off for many, many years. Then the anxiety kicked in and it was just pure hell. I did have an attempt on my life in 2014 because there was a lot of things that were going on at the time that just added and added and added and added, and in the end I just snapped. I remember the day because it was the day we found out that Robin Williams had died.
Yeah.
And that knocked me for six because I thought I'm stuck with this for the rest of my life. It doesn't bother me now. It's still a bit of a struggle, but I've come to terms with it. Many sessions of psychotherapy, both individual and group therapy, which at the time helped a bit. But then at the end of 2014, it all finished and I was kind of left hanging. Didn't have the tools to deal with things. I didn't know how to cope with things. So everything that I've done on my own. I've had to do a lot of research, especially like with the epilepsy side of things, because like a lot of people know, if medical professionals don't tell you anything, where are you supposed to go and get this information from?
Yeah.
So what I've done now is I'm going to be setting up my own YouTube channel and doing a selection of mental health topics that will hopefully help people.
Ooh.
And it's kind of helping me as well because I'm finding out more stuff that I've never known about.
Yeah.
But the EUPD, which is emotional unstable personality disorder, was my final diagnosis in 2014. And the psychiatrist at the time said, yeah, you've got this. Plus anxiety, plus depression, plus PTSD, plus adjustment disorder. What the hell adjustment disorder is, I don't know. If anybody out there knows and can tell me, please do. But it's, I think it's kind of been a combination of things throughout my life that have kind of contributed to it. And I can stand here now and look back on it and think, yeah, this is where it started. It wasn't family. My childhood with my family was fantastic. It started when I was at school, and I remember when I was at primary school, a boy that I quite liked to turn around and said that he thought that I was really ugly, and that stuck with me forever. Knocked my confidence, and then I was victims of bullying throughout school, bullying through the workplace, and it's culminated in a lot of things.
And you know, I think it's a very, a lot of the stories that you hear, there's a common trend where it leads from bullying,
Yes.
and a lot of it starts from school. And I think what happens is where you're bullied at school, you don't know how to deal with it,
No.
and then you go, and as you're going into adulthood, it sort of alters your personality, and you don't know how to.
Absolutely.
And I think it affects a lot of people socially on how to open up with adults as you're growing up. But then those people don't see it as this is the problem. They think, oh, they're a bit weird, and then suddenly they alienate you because they don't realise that there's a background story. And I think that's a lot of people's problems is people don't take time to listen to what's happened to someone's past and why. They may be a little bit more reserved. They may be a little bit more quiet or not trust everyone straight away. And I think that's hard.
It is.
Because I've had we had a segment where Gino spoke up about what he went through, and I think back then, like when I was in school, a lot of people didn't talk like quite openly.
No.
So that's it, and I think that's why it's important that I get my kids to speak as much
Absolutely.
as much as they can, because then hopefully as they get older, it doesn't affect them sociably. And I think that's why a lot of people like I have socially struggle to mix with people because I don't trust anyone. And like you said, my upbringing with my family has been absolutely spot on. It was as you go through the trend of school and you meet all these what I call now absolute idiots, basically, that ruin it and they cause problem. What do you think, Rob?
So I've just looked up adjustment disorder. So adjustment disorder is a group of symptoms such as stress, feeling sad or hopeless, and physical symptoms that can occur after you go through a stressful life event. The symptoms occur because you're having a hard time coping. Your reaction is stronger than expected for the type of event that occurred. It just says that it gives you changes in behavior, strong emotions, and involves negative thoughts.
Yeah, I suppose that would make sense. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's strange how a lot of these, like depression, anxiety, seem to fall under a certain umbrella. That sounds very much like anxiety or depression kind of thing. But sometimes if the doctors can't diagnose something, they'll just call it something else. They'll say, "Oh, it's like." And the worrying thing now is there's people are so quick to blame doctors because they get the wrong diagnosis. They say, "Oh, you've got that," and they'll start going through life thinking they have this, when in fact it's something else. And touching what Nando said, the reason I'm on here permanently as not permanently, but it's because my bullying and my stress and anxiety just goes straight out the window. So this was my last chance to do kind of a social thing. Otherwise I just wouldn't You know, I mean, it's not that I just don't trust people. It's just anxiety.
Mm.
You know, anxiety turns into paranoia. You know, what are they saying about me? Shall I put this? Shall I put this? You know, and being misunderstood and people misreading things.
Mm.
You know, so I've started my little YouTube drawing. That's all I do. You know,
Yeah.
and the worrying thing is I found when I'm not on social media, I'm a lot happier. You know, as in not on Facebook. 'Cause
Yeah.
if I don't type anything, then nothing can get misconstrued or what. I know it's, you know, I know it sounds pretty bad, but you know, I'm happy. I like being on here because I talk to people. It's great, but apart from that, you know, I don't really like to socialise that much. I will do, you know, but
You have to do it in your own time, don't you?
I
have
do
to,
it. Yeah, absolutely. But when the anxiety kicks in, it kicks in hard.
Mhm.
No, it's like here we go again, kind of thing.
yeah.
No.
Well, Tracy's put that she understands them feelings. Let's get it up on screen. I understand them feelings. I'm bipolar, only I get hyper at times too.
Mm.
Yeah, I think what people need to remember, the brain is a very technical piece of equipment.
Mm.
That's
You
a
know,
nightmare.
and you know the problem is, and I say this quite often, you got your people that live in a bubble that have had what they call a perfect life,
Yeah.
and they don't take time to step out of that bubble to see what life can be like for other people. But then, as people that have suffered with mental health, and hear me out when I say this, because I'm not saying we create our own problems in some respects because we allow things to manifest in our brain. So something small, because we don't know how to deal with, it gets bigger and bigger. And I think sometimes that's where the anxiety comes in. Like, you know, you get anxious about going out because you're like, what is this person going to think of me? What's going to happen here? And before you know it, you've played so many different scenarios before anything's actually happened. And I say this from experience. You know, I went through a stage where I just didn't go out the house. I would literally.
Is it feeding time at the zoo?
No, it came from the front door. I'm sorry.
There we go. That put me on. But no, it's all right.
Sorry, I have to go. Sorry.
All right. Right, I'll just take Chris off for a minute.
What I was saying,
I'll put him back up in a minute.
I would attempt to go out, but before I would get to the front door, it was like all those anxieties would kick in. And it's finding a way to rewire your brain again.
Yes.
I think, you know, things that have emotionally damaged you in the past, it's trying to find that way to leave that in the past and not let that affect your future. But that's easier said than done.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people need to realize every day for someone that's had any kind of mental, they've suffered with mental health, it's a different process for each individual. And it's not something that it's not going to fix maybe the next day or a week. It could take years.
Absolutely.
And I think every step that you're making, you know, every step forward, you're potentially getting to your next goal.
Yes.
You know? But you're saying that, Casey, like you went through the bullying, then you woke up, but you just didn't care. How did you manage to overcome your anxieties? And what did you do to get yourself out there again?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I still don't know how I'm here to this day. I just think it's a lot of support from my mum and dad and my sister. And it's looking at things from another perspective, looking at a bigger picture, and just making myself go out and do things. You know, and it's like I've booked this trip to Africa next year, and I'm a mixture of excitement and anxiety. And
Are you going with friends or on your own?
I'm going on my own.
Oh wow, that is a massive.
Fair play.
Yeah, massive. So
fair play to you. You know, I think people need to see that you don't have to wait for someone else to do something.
No,
you know, if you want to get anywhere in life, and I say this to my oldest son, and I've said it to him recently, don't wait for someone to open a door for you.
No,
Go and open that door.
absolutely.
You know, because if you wait too long, and I've made this mistake.
Mhm.
You know, a year goes by, 2
Yeah.
years go by,
Yeah.
and you look back and excuse my language, but you look back and you think, "Fuck, what have I done? Just sitting here waiting around for someone
Absolutely.
else."
Yeah.
You know, when you can achieve stuff on your own.
Yes.
And I think that's great for you, Katie. You know,
Thank you.
especially where you're saying, you know, you've suffered with anxiety, you've suffered with, you know, your mental health, and
Yeah.
then you're going to a country that's totally out there in Africa.
Oh yes.
You know, it's and it'll be great. You'll make friends along the way.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you know, so what part of Africa are you going to?
I'm going to Kenya and Tanzania for 2 weeks on a safari. So
Yeah.
I've got my camera and my video camera all set up. That's my main purpose, to get out there and photograph the elephants.
Elephants,
Oh,
that's what
great.
you want to see, the
You
elephants.
know, they're not going to come to me. I've got to go to them. So
Fair enough.
And if you're doing your YouTube channel, maybe you should do a vlog when you're out there to put on your
yeah,
YouTube as well.
yeah, I've been thinking about that today.
You know, that would be a great, you know, you can show people how you're stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something that's totally out of, you know, something that you wouldn't have thought that you would have ever got to do.
No.
So yeah, definitely vlog that in your
Yeah.
YouTube and just,
Yeah.
you know, share your journey with people.
I will.
I think it'll be great. That'd be amazing.
Tracy,
I'm so-
you don't have to apologise about Chris's barking. It's fine.
I'm saving up to go to America, go to Universal Studios.
Oh, it is brilliant. You're going to love it.
Yeah, it's nice there.
Yeah.
So
There's the laugh.
I'll be going on my own because Tracy, she can't travel, so
No.
we've got it,
Oh,
we've got it
wow.
all sorted out.
So you're going to go
Okay.
on your own as well.
Yeah.
Where are you going to stay? Are you going to stay
I
in
haven't.
Florida?
I don't. No, it's going California, so it's on the other side.
Oh, okay. You're going to the other Universal Studios.
Yeah, the
Not-
Hollywood one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I went to the one in Florida because I'd done Disney World for 2 days and then went to Universal Studio for 2 days. I've never spent so much money in all my life, but it was well
Yeah.
worth it. Yeah. Yeah.
You should spend a holiday with Sarah. She'll show you how to spend money. She's good at it.
Yeah,
no,
but
I
women can.
I just think it'll be a great experience. Like with you, Chris, and I've said this before to you. From when I first met you, you were very closed, and you know you weren't as chatty as you are now.
No.
And I think, you know, it's a step forward. If you can do that online, eventually you build up that courage, and then you do it in person. You go out, and I think that's what a lot of people need to realise, that just because you're in that dark hole, it doesn't mean you need to be stuck there.
No.
It's just finding that balance and
Absolutely.
finding a way
I
to
just take
take
my
those
dark.
steps up.
I just take my dark hole with me in the suitcase.
Just
You
climb
know.
in the suitcase. If it gets too tough, climb in the suitcase.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's still hard. I mean, you even want to go out to like kind of keep myself to myself and don't really interact with people or anything. You know, keep my headphones on so nobody, you know, it's difficult, but you know, it's not impossible.
So you're going to
It's
give
not
us all a
impossible.
bad name out there. They're going to be like bloody English.
You know, but to be fair, Chris, you know, it's never going to go away.
No, it will never go away.
I've
No.
learned that about myself. Like, I'll never forget, you know, something happened to me when I was 18, and I shared that story when we first started doing this. And as the years have gone on, I've learned to not so much let go of it, but to deal with it in my
Cope
certain
with
ways.
it. Yeah, you find
Yeah,
a way to cope with
coping.
it.
But then one evening, I'll never forget this. We went out for dinner, me, Sarah, and the 3 boys, and we had a lovely evening, right? And as we were coming out of the restaurant, I was walking. I wasn't concentrating where I was going, but then I was walking holding Gino's hand, and then I didn't realise I walked into a circle of youths, all had hoodies on, and then I had an automatic flashback of what happened to me, and my personality completely changed.
Did you see that as well, Katie?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
That's fine.
What
You're
was
blowing
that?
bubbles. You're blowing
Yeah, you were
bubbles.
blowing bubbles and a thumb down, and it was like, what on earth is going on?
Is it doing that thing when we talk then?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, very weird.
oh, okay. Maybe it don't like me talking about what I'm talking. But the reason I bring that up is because there's going to be moments where you have the downfall where you go back to what you've relived, and I'm sure each of us have had that. But how have you managed to overcome that when you've had a flashback or something that set you back a little bit, Katie?
That's a difficult one because, I mean, I was raped when I was 19, and I never told anybody about it, and I kept it all to myself, and I've had to deal with that throughout the rest of my life. And I've had other relationships and things, and I went off the rails when I was living on my own. I'm back living with my parents at the moment. And I just kind of distanced myself. It's like that was it, detached myself from it. So whatever was sort of going on was going on, but I wasn't there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that kind of partly helped me in a sense to kind of move forward. And I think, you know, when it's not the first thing you think of when you wake up, and it's not the last thing you think of when you go to sleep, that is when you know that you are beginning to heal.
Yeah.
And that's something that I say to a lot of people. And not everyone out there is bad. Not everyone out there is out to get you. And like you say, you have to put yourself out there in order to find out, because if you don't, you're just going to live a very, very sheltered life.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't. But if you don't, like I say, get out there and try it, you're never going to know.
And don't get me wrong, like going through that experience is heartbreaking. I understand it in some respects, but you know, going through it and getting past it, it makes you a lot stronger. You're stronger than you're more stronger than you realise. You know, and I think that's what a lot of people need to take credit for. And I say that I've said this to Paul. Who's Paul? Rob. Who's Paul? Oh my God!
Don't know who Paul is.
I've said it to Rob. You know, yeah, you feel like shit now, but the fact is you're still here and you're still pushing forward. So you are stronger than what you think. And I think, but it's easy to give that advice to someone and tell someone that, then take it on your own back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm very good at giving people advice, but I can't take it myself.
But you know, and that's the other side of it. People don't realise how badly it affects future relationships because you have that barrier. Like I'll use me and Sarah as an example. You know, when we first got together, it was okay, but then very quickly it changed because of the way I was. Because I never, like a lot of people, didn't seek proper help.
No,
I thought I could do it on my own, but shit, that went wrong, completely wrong. You know, but then that's another thing that people need to realize. It's a new process. You need to process and find a way to be able to allow someone to come into that circle that has been damaged in the past.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, everything's a process. And I think that's what people need to start realizing about mental health. You know, I think a lot of people think, I've heard sayings, you've just made it up in your head. You need to get on with it. But it's not, is it? Oh, mate, that is the word that hits me all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
stop being a pussy is one I heard at the weekend as well. Stop being a pussy. It's just in your head. It's like, look, they're having a crisis, so they're not being a pussy at all.
No.
But people don't understand. So when people go out drinking, and this is what I see a lot at the weekend, when people go out drinking, their emotions get heightened. And then they do something stupid like thinking, oh, I'm going to take a little bump of ket, or I'm going to take a little bit of cocaine. And then everything in their head goes 10 to the dozen. And then before you know it, they're having a complete meltdown. And then all their mates don't understand what's going on. So they're like, oh, stop being a pussy. Oh, you're ruining our night and that. And it's like, well, you know, give them a little bit of credit. Give them some respect. And I had it at the weekend. I had a girl that her friends just went, you ruined our night, fuck off. And they left her with me. And her friends went out and carried on going clubbing.
They're no friends.
No.
Mate, if that was my daughter, if I got a knock on the door saying that my daughter's friends left them like her like that, oh, we'll be pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Mhm.
Mate, I'm quite protective when it comes to my kids anyway, so it's horrible. But for you, Kate, you know, now you look back on everything that you've gone through and the strides that you've made forward, and and I would say, like, the thing with you going to Africa is an achievement.
Yes.
It's a great achievement. But if you knew someone that was struggling, or someone come and asked you for your advice, what advice would you give someone?
Like I say, they are stronger than they think they are. They can go through anything. You can come out the other side of it. You're going to have a few battle scars, but wear those scars with pride.
Yeah. That's a good bit of advice. I like that.
Wear your scars with pride.
Absolutely.
That's a good one there. That is a good one. Yeah.
Chris, what would you say?
Who are you talking to?
Chris.
Oh, Chris.
I don't know. I don't know until the situation arises, because that's how it works with me. I don't know. It's caught me on the back foot, really.
I like doing that.
It's all experiences, really. And when you speak to people, if they're in difficulty, you can not relate to them because their thought process is completely different to yours. But if it's anxiety or depression or suicide, if you've been there and you know how your head is and how it can affect you, at least you can give them some advice of how you deal with it. It could be listening to music. With me, music's really, really good, because it blocks out a lot. It blocks out that ridiculously stupid monkey on your back, or the voice in your head that's telling you stupid things that you don't really want to hear. But yeah, I mean, it's just trying to be open. I mean, me and Tracy, we talk. There's we talk about everything, really, and she knows. When things go with me, she knows when things go wrong and what to look for. And with Tracy as well. If you're a bit down, or I'm not talking much, or whatever kind of thing. But it is understanding the person you're with. And letting them know, because if you keep it all bottled up, they won't know how to help you at that particular time. But if you say, "Oh, why were you like that?" or "I was a bit down," and also it's important to say sorry.
Yeah.
If you are a bit down and you bite and you don't mean to.
No.
Can I just interrupt there? But never apologise because someone's telling you need to get on with things.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, Chris, but that is a bugbear. Never apologise for how you feel and what's going through your head, because you're entitled to feel the way you do, and you should never have to apologise. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But
what I meant was, if somebody says, do you want a cup of coffee? You go, you bite. You say, I'm sorry, because some people can't do that because they've got too much of an ego. It's I can't say sorry and I can't say that. I don't have an ego or anything like that, so you'll find it a lot easier. So, but some people can't. They can't show face for anything, or they can't show the true feelings. And that can be a problem as well. That's where, because they keep everything stored up. But if you got the right person, with your partner or friend or something where you can offload or chat. I mean, my mum does it. Unfortunately, she lost her best friend for years and years, who she talked to. She wasn't related to the family. And I think it's important that you do have somebody that you can go to talk to, way out of your family kind of thing. Because because there's some things your family don't need to know. It's not important. Family don't need to know everything that's going on.
Yeah.
You ain't met my family then. Oh my, there's a slightly different breed, my family then. But no, okay, let's put that one down, Rob.
Wasn't saying anything, Nando. I just held a cat ball in my hand and blew on it, and it started flashing.
Oh, yeah, okay. But no.
See, our family is very closed off. You see, it means through my bullying, my parents didn't have a clue, and my dad wasn't very open. He kept himself to himself, and he was always very working. So it was something I had to deal with. And like you said, Nando, earlier on, it's not until you get older that you learn how to use the tools that are available to you, and you process things. But sometimes it takes longer than others. But you do get there.
You do. Eventually, you get back on a level footing, but sometimes it's hard.
Yeah, it's still a bit wobbly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. And then if you start getting flashbacks, or you see the person that's caused you that trauma in the first place, like I saw one of the guys that attacked me when I was younger a few weeks ago. He's still doing scaffolding, and I just happened to look out the window and was like, I recognize that guy, and he was working right opposite my flat. And I was like, oh, blinds down, that's it, done. And I just didn't go anywhere. I was like, I'm not going outside because I don't want to walk into him. So I think a lot of it sometimes it's easy for people to say, suck it up, get on with it, man up and stuff like that. But unless they've actually been through the trouble themselves, they've got no idea.
Or they don't ask what's the matter. They forget that they're dealing with people which do have feelings. And that's another important thing. That is, they forget that whoever's saying like, oh, you're rubbish, or that, they forget. I mean, we all do forget, but we are our own little world on legs, which do have feelings and stuff. Even though we are connected with you, married or whatever, at the end of the day, we are our little planet. With things going on.
This is a good phrase as well. Tracy's just put up. I hate the phrase pull yourself together.
Pull yourself together. I think the other side of it, though, that we need to look at is, when a lot of people that have gone through any kind of emotional trauma, anything like that, is the risk that they are to themselves and others. One thing that I've learned through my experience is people think because I'm a laugh, I come across quite goofy, and people think, that's it, that's all he's about. But it takes a lot of effort for me to be like this, because if you rub me up the wrong way, I can also be a very different person as well.
Yeah.
And that's the other problem. A lot of people, like you were saying, when you see someone, I remember seeing someone.
We just had a ghost walk in the room.
I hope not. But yeah, I started primary school. One of the girls that happened to be there the night I was seriously assaulted, her kids went to the school. And do you know what? Straight away, I wanted to go up to her and go, now you've got kids. Imagine someone doing to your kids what you lot did to me. How would you feel? It was just that instinct, but it's not right to do it. But there is that other side to me now, that if someone messes with my family or rubs out, I can switch. And that's what people need to realise. Because of that, don't take my kindness for granted, because it can be very... Go, guys. I hope not. I'm hoping that... Did anyone see Rocco walk in?
Well, I saw the door open, but we didn't see who it was.
No, just the door opened. I think it was a poltergeist. But you're all right, Nando. It'll be fine.
Well, when we finish, we'll do the rounds around my house before I let you go.
I'm not doing that again. That was a long-ass-winded operation, that was.
Mate, that was your fault as well.
I've just got to close the door. I've got to turn off the lights, and then he's running up the stairs with me still on the phone to him so he could get into bed. I was like, you pussy.
But I think people need to realise that, it affects the person in a big way. And not just about how they socialise with others, but how they are in themselves and how they portray everything that happens in front of them. And I think that's what... I think a lot of it, people don't realise that mental health is an issue. It is a problem. It's like... it might not be as bad as what a cancer is, because that is a disease. But mental health is like a disease. It
Yes.
starts off small, and before you know it, it's got massive, and and then it's finding that way, it's finding that fix, it's finding that how to get through it. But I think people are impatient as well. They
Yeah.
don't want to deal when they hear mental health. People don't want to deal with it because
No.
they think, oh shit, someone's got a bit of anxiety. Oh, yeah, right. For
It's
you,
the
it
roll
might
the
not be
eyes
something.
thing, isn't it? It's like, no,
Yeah.
here we go again.
Yeah.
Or like you said, Kate, you've gone to counselling sessions or
Mhm.
therapy. Now they're meant to be there to help you. This
Absolutely.
is my personal opinion, and I'm not saying this might not be the same as you, but when I walked in, they listen to your story, but you can see that they're judging you.
Oh,
right?
yes.
They're judging you, especially when you say things about drugs come into it.
Yeah.
I turned to drugs, and I've been very honest about it. As soon as I said it, you see that judgment. You're like, what's the point of me fucking being here? The whole point of this is that there's no judgment. It's me getting it off my chest and finding the way forward.
Yes.
And then as soon as you're in there, you're like, can I leave now? I'm done already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's my.
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt about.
Well, I know that in my group, I had a gentleman in there that was a recovering alcoholic, and he was quite open about it and that. And I did feel at the time that when I was kind of sitting back and watching sort of the reactions of other people, that the therapists themselves was just not interested in what was being said. And I thought, you're getting paid to do this. You're getting paid to help us.
There's a big issue at the moment with mental health, though, because no one wants to section anyone. No one wants to send them to outpatient clinics because there's no funding. So the government on the 1st of April, God bless the Tories. I'm joking. Before anyone hates me in the chat, I can't stand the Tories. They have now decided to give the NHS an extra 2.3 billion because they realised that they underfunded mental health last year. So they've pushed it back up to 16 billion instead of 12 billion. It's like,
it's too late.
It is too late because so many people have slipped through the system. So many people have taken their own lives.
Yes.
They can't get it back. It's all right for them to, and this is the thing about the government, and they praise themselves when they do something like this.
Yeah.
But then in my mind it's just like, okay, you're sat here like giving yourself a tap on the back, but what about all the poor families that have already lost their loved ones,
Exactly.
their kids, their fathers, because they didn't get that support when it should have been.
But I look at it differently. I look at it that would they have done that had it not been a general election year?
I was just about to say that. Yeah,
that's true.
Probably not.
Because they want to be seen to be doing something good. It's like, we're going to give you all this money now.
Yeah.
Do you think though there should be more, like in schools, like there should be more teaching about mental health in schools, how to recognise and how, because I think that's something else. A lot of the younger, like you think about kids with ADHD, for example, right? They get looked at as they're just naughty kids, and then they get picked on because of it. Or I'll give you an example. My son Gino, he has it's like a tick. I can't remember what the actual term of it, but he flaps a lot, like really, like his hands going. And because of the school, they didn't deal with it properly. Do you know what they did? They put a weight blanket on him to try and stop him from flapping. When we were told by our consultant that don't stop him from doing it because it'll make it worse.
Yes.
So is it a failing within the government, the school systems, where they're not being taught how to deal with these children?
It's failings everywhere, right across the board. I mean, I worked as a teacher for about 4 years in a secondary school. I've worked with kids like from birth upwards, but it was my first time going into secondary, and it was a real eye-opener. And a lot of the stuff that I found was because these kids were not being listened to. They were not being listened to by their parents.
Yeah.
A majority of the time. Because of the area that the school was in. But also the teachers didn't want to know. And it wasn't the fact that they didn't have the skills to do it. It was the fact they just didn't want to know.
It was too much
and
effort. I think the problem with teachers, sorry to interrupt you, is because they're so understaffed, they're stretched out more. And they don't, and a lot of them are not getting paid what they believe they should be. So that care and that motivation to do right by kids gets lost out the window because it turns into money at the end of the day. But then our kids are the ones that suffer.
Absolutely.
Because of the way it is. And no disrespect to teachers. I don't mean that being horrible.
Get that out quick.
Yeah, I know, before I get shot at and I'm like,
The Madwecker put, think of all the possible lives that it may save going forward, which is true. But really, they shouldn't have taken away the funding in the first place. So it would have been extra funding. It's like, you remember when Boris took over and he was like, I promise you 20,000 new police officers. But the one he took over from had sacked 20,000. So it wasn't like he was giving us 20,000 new officers. It was just equaling it up again. So, but what I would like to ask the Madwecker is, what is mental health like in New Zealand? What are your resources like over there, if you can let us know? Because I'd be interested to know. Because I know in America you have to pay for everything, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
I'm not sure what it's like in New Zealand, whether it's free or whether you have to pay for it.
That's got to be scary. Like if you're in a country where you don't have access to it because you've got to pay for it before you get any help. Because it's a struggle. Like even now, like we get the NHS, but everything is a struggle, isn't it? Like when you're thinking about the cost of everything.
Yeah.
It's the worst it's ever been, I think, for people.
It is, because although there's 24/7 helplines in every area of the UK for mental health, there in Sussex there's 2 mental health units, one up by Gatwick Airport and one in Hove, which is why they don't want to section people.
Yeah,
because they're pretty much full. So it's like, well, build new places for them.
I mean, it's shocking, but it's not surprising.
No.
And, you know, with the government shutting hospitals left, right and centre over the last few decades, you know, if we were to have like a major incident or something, our hospitals just won't cope, as what we saw with the COVID.
Yeah.
Yet they managed to put up like these Nightingale hospitals, which could have easily been transformed into drunk tanks or a mental health facility or something. And then
I think the problem is, like, they put money into it now, but deep down, I don't think the government want to have to spend that money. They want to make sure their pockets are lined.
Oh, Nando, what are you saying about Rishi?
I'm sorry, but it's just I'm not being funny. Like, people that are working and everything, they're all struggling, even when they're working, or people that are on benefits, you know, that are genuine people that are on benefits because they physically can't go to work. They're struggling, but then you're seeing Rishi Sunak or Boris Johnson, they're in their Suave cars, they're going on holiday. You hear Rishi Sunak's got houses everywhere, his family are rich, you know, they're all right, but you know, but everyone else has got to struggle while they're going through life like, oh, we do care. Oh, I'm going to jump on the plane and go on holiday now.
But from the 1st of April, minimum wage goes up to $11.50 an hour.
It's all very well. It's all very well. Again, this is because the general elections coming in. But the problem is, whether you're Conservative or Labour or a Democrat, they don't engage with the normal person, the everyday person. They don't see how they don't see how they live. You know how they struggle with money and stuff like that. You know, they just talk on their platforms and that's it. You know, you don't see them going around to somebody's house and sitting down with them for a day or something. How do you live? You know, because I'm Tracy's carer. I'm like an unpaid carer. You know, so not only do I have to deal with my own stuff, I have to look after Tracy as well. You know, they don't see all this. You know, it's bonkers.
Can you not get carers allowance, Chris?
Well, no, because what they do is they give it in one hand, take out the other. They give you the carer allowance, and then my ESA drops then.
Right.
So I'm none the better off.
It's the same when you're saying about wages going up. A lot of people are not going to benefit from that because you think as soon as wages go up, they're going to put petrol prices up or food is going up.
Or the
So
electricity.
really, gas and electric goes skyrocketing.
Yeah.
So really, are people that are aware, are they going to receive the benefits of that increase in wages? No, because inflation with supermarkets, with petrol, everything like that, that's going to go up and that's where it's going to go. So you're no better off.
So we've had a reply from the Mad Wecker. And she says it's actually pretty good, to be fair. There are a lot of government funded programs if you're referred by your GP. So that's good. That's good.
Let's all go to New Zealand then.
Yeah, sounds like the GPs are a lot better out there. See, you have got a ghost. The door's just open and no one's there.
Oh,
you can come and
it's Rocco.
They can see you crawling on the floor. You're right, buddy. He's just getting his charger.
Wow.
But yeah, I think, everything's corrupted in a way to benefit someone else.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you later, Rocco.
Love you.
Well, I found a interesting guy on YouTube called Massive Man. I don't know if anyone's heard of him. Have you heard of him, Chris?
No.
He's a singer, and a lot of his songs are very dark. It's about mental health. A lot of his songs are around mental health. So I'm going to play one before we end the show later. I'm going to play one called Fan Letters. And it actually, when you listen to the words, it makes you really think about what people are suffering behind the scenes. And they're writing to their idol to ask for help and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been a very interesting chat.
Going back to music, there's one particular song that I have used and has helped me immensely. Was Papa Roach, Last Resort.
Yeah, that is very good.
Although it's
Who's
about
Papa Roach?
Papa Roach, they're an American metal band, rock band. That song.
Yeah. You have to send me a message with the name of the song and the name of the group, and then I'll listen to it.
Their version of their song is really hard hitting because at the time when it was released, you kind of had the angry side of it. But someone else, Falling in Reverse, have done a cover version of it, completely stripped it back and done it in a really melodic way. And the words hit even harder now.
Really?
Really, really good. Yeah.
There's a lot of musicians now that are touching on the mental health because they know that people are struggling.
Yes.
But you think about it, you think about these celebrities, right? A lot of them are struggling with their mental health as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, the amount, a lot of the times we become aware of it when it's too late, like Robin Williams, for example. What's the young lad that took his life? His brother was in Backstreet Boys as well.
Oh, Aaron Carter.
There's Aaron Carter. There's loads of them, you know, and you think even when they've got all the money in the world, because of the stuff that they've done, they're clearly not getting the support that's needed because they're falling into that dark hole, where they're being affected, and it's crazy, honestly and true. It's just absolutely crazy how, mental health is just not a big priority to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, with Robin Williams, nobody saw that coming, did they?
No.
I don't know. He wasn't right, was he? Everyone said that he was struggling, and you could tell. Like the last film he done was Night at the Museum, wasn't it?
Night at the Museum 3.
One. And you could tell, you could see in his face that he wasn't happy.
But it is mad. And I think the thing is, people like him, they create so many different characters that they can disguise what they're really going through. Like,
he did disguise it, didn't he?
Yeah, like Jim Carrey, for example.
Yeah.
For years, we just thought he was one of the funniest actors that you would see on your screen. But behind closed doors, he was something different. He did struggle as well.
Robert Downey Jr.
a lot of comedians actually do suffer with depression. I mean, I think St. James did. A lot of the famous. I mean, Peter Sellers suffered with depression. Spot Milligan as well. You know, they all. You know, but they put on the front for, I suppose, the fans or whatever kind of thing. You know, but like I said, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
No.
You know.
No, it's like I say, a smile tells 1,000 stories. You know, you can't take it as face value.
You can't take it as gospel, can you?
Yeah, no, exactly. There's always a different story or something's always going on. But unfortunately, people just don't want to take the time to find out. And it's just like, but then it's great when they all start doing, oh, I should have done this, or, you know, they start singing the sob story when something bad has happened. Why didn't you just step out the bubble for 5 minutes to have a look, and maybe you would have noticed it sooner?
It's because sometimes people are scared. People are scared to ask, and vice versa. People in that particular situation are scared to ask for advice.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Hey up.
I don't know what's going on. What the? Because I tried.
Are you going to sing a song, Rob?
No, I'm going to put something on. As we're talking about him, I'm going to put it on now, which is the Robin Williams motivational speech, because I think it's important, to be fair. So let's.
Most earthlings try very hard to be recognized for what they do, but when they become stars, sir, they realize they're recognized wherever they go. You have responsibilities, anxieties, and, to be honest, sir, some of them can't take it.
Was instant stardom like that, and instant fame like that, disorienting?
Very. It's like being taken from the bottom of Death Valley to the top of the Empire State Building in 2 seconds. It's totally disorienting. To be from, you know, just performing at Comedy Store or small clubs, and all of a sudden have everybody know you. And that happened. And that was instantaneous. And that it's a little frightening, too. I mean, you know, people, if you're kind of shy, and sometimes I get kind of like this, that they, you know, people, they just look at you.
Cocaine, what a wonderful drug. Anything to make you paranoid and impotent, give me more of that.
One of the great triumphs of your life was the way you beat drugs, but do you think that getting into them was the effect of success, or just the atmosphere of the 70s, late 80s?
I mean, success was fun. It's like the old joke. Do you have a drug problem? No, everybody had it. It was a great way of kind of avoiding contact, and then you get into this kind of, you want to pull back from it rather than experience it, because it's frightening, and you're trying to find some way to pull away. I think it was escaping from people, basically. It's, you know, just, you know, from those people going, hey.
When you're a celebrity, everybody wants a piece of you, sir. Unless you can say no, there'll be no pieces left for yourself.
Sometimes it was the fear of failure. It was that thing of, you know, if you didn't notice, you wouldn't, because it was coming so fast, it was that fear of when's it going to go? Rather than just keep, you know, finding and doing different things. Cocaine actually made me almost not sleepy, but would just shut me down. I would get like this. And I think that's why I did it. So I wouldn't have to experience.
So it was cutting off from people, as
yeah,
you said.
It was isolating. It was, and then years later after I stopped, when I see people, they're actually going, you just made eye contact. How you doing? Because most of the time you didn't have to. It was a great chance not to look at people. It was, you know, this. I couldn't see them. It's because, once again, it's the brain. The brain, once it tastes it, will want to go back up to the same level. Will demand that because it's psychologically addicting. They found that out.
And how long did it take you to feel that sense of liberation that you mentioned Richard Pryor felt?
It took you about a year. Someone said you're liberated when you don't talk about it, when you don't mention, you don't have to say anything, when it doesn't appear in your subconscious, when it's just gone. Something very freeing about having your mind back and in your control. The ideas that you find will get you the same kind of stimulus. And then what other things happen is you start to relate to people again. And as you come back into the world and relate to them, they're stimulating, and realizing that can be quite wonderful. Conversations with friends, you know, playing with a child. You know, all of these things can be just as stimulating and wonderfully so, and nourishing. And then all of a sudden you start to come back. It's just a process of that, you know, building that in again.
You treat a disease, you win, you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you'll win no matter what the outcome.
But providing a security of acknowledging who I am and saying, I love that. I love what you are. Don't be afraid. And it's like, oh, then that frees you up. You really do? Me? I used to talk about myself. I used to have this image that I was kind of like this, almost like a dwarf, because I'd been called that in school. I was like this little short, furry guy. And then I said, I love that. Really? But that's been the process, and it's so wonderful, and it's growing. And you learn and you go through, and it's been tough. And the way that all of Oliver's work is, he makes you examine these supposedly negative and horrifying things from another perspective and say, yes, these are, there is great pain and aspects to that, but he also says, look at the power of the human spirit, and more than just the spirit, the power of the mind, and distinguishing between the mind and the brain. Some people say that the brain is a computer, but he said, no, beyond that, there is something, there is deity within you, there is that, that spark, that divine thing, and it stems from creation, that thing that is soul.
The human spirit is more powerful than any drug. And that is what needs to be nourished.
And that's what I was fascinated by with Oliver's writing and with Awakenings. That which can shine through something that which seems apparently dead, but yet the human mind and spirit shines through that. And you saw it in the tapes when he showed me the tapes of some of the patients. And they would be like this, and he'd say, watch. And all of a sudden, they would come back. And you can see they were there, and then they would go out again. And it would be in that moment, you knew. And he said he was only going on that faith that they were there.
Well, I was going to say, did meeting those people over such a sustained period of time, concentrated period of time, I mean, did it make you feel that life is incredibly unfair, or did you feel that maybe it's fair because they have some compensating thing that we don't?
The thing that makes me sometimes feel that life is unfair, that flattens me, is when you see children with cancer. When they bring that, I say, why? I mean, we had a young boy come to the set of Hook who wrote and came, and he said, why? Why do this? I mean, why is it that they have this? I mean, that sometimes, the one time I go, if it's benevolent and all this, why are they? But yet, then after a while you talk to them, and even then they have such a will and a power that anytime you start to think of my life and go, look at this child. And this one little boy was 8, shaved head from chemotherapy, but had such a strength and a power and such a joy that he was just like, it was beyond intoxicating, that he basically had this will and this spirit and this love and was not bitter and was not angry. He was still a child, and he still would take me to meet the other kids and say, look, this is my friend, that's Tommy. He's on a machine, but he's okay, he's fine. He likes Legos. And he wasn't like this, and obviously there were times when it's horribly painful.
Does religion matter to you much?
Oh, deeply. I mean, it comes from years ago when I used to treat it more in kind of that cosmic sense, like Einstein said. When you look around and you see all of it, you have to realize there's some, method behind it all. And truly your sense of awe and your sense of wonder, and then you begin to approach that. And then from the painful issues, what we've just talked about, can you be angry at that, or do you kind of start to go beyond and look at it all and realize not to be bitter, not to be, but to still keep trying and not give up on people.
Don't give up on me. I won't.
What infuriates me sometimes here is the lack of, sometimes just the sheer lack of funding. When the truth is we're broke, so you can't even get furious about that. But how can you deny when there's, hundreds of thousands of people who have AIDS and are dying of it, and just turn your head on them? And people are dying alone in their rooms. And why do you do that? Well, Jesse sometimes will deny the funds because this is God's will. Well, Jesse sometimes wake up, So you have to take that stand and, wander among people. And not be afraid of that. And to wander into the world and to put your heart and soul behind and trying to still keep things going. Not to accept it and just say, well, it's the way it is. And to trying to help these children if you can't cure it, and to make their life wonderful now. And to try and do these things that, that allows them to have a wonderful life despite this.
With work, play, friendship, family. These are the things that matter.
Not just for your own family, but for the family of man. That we are one species, and we are endangered. We are about, we are basically destroying ourselves from within unless you wise up and start to take certain measures. on all levels, and that's where you have, and it's what this 3.5 pound gland that we have. The one cure lies within the same thing that is causing a lot of the pain. Is this?
Well, why, if we've got those brains, why are we destroying ourselves with?
Because
why are we so self-destructive?
Because Kessler used to say we haven't evolved, we haven't, jumped between the lower brains, the lizard and the mammal. There are very few mammals that kill each other off, except for rats. And then sometimes you wonder why we look like that. That we have to evolve up somehow, take the leap to evolve the emotional level with this intellect that can create amazing machines that can save life, but also create amazing machines that can take it in 2 seconds, destroy the world. And to evolve and to join, to somehow catch up to all of the different things. He was suggesting that they should make a drug that somehow bridges the gap emotionally between this, you have these powerful soul and these feelings, but sometimes could be overridden by this mind that can say, we must extinguish all the others. And then you go, wait, this was an intellect that came up with that concept. And wait, bring the heart up to that, to override that, and to join all of them. These are the things that it's happening. Will we catch up to ourselves? Will we somehow be in control of that? We still have these primitive urges that used to make me take, it's when we were like running around going, but now we have a big stick that basically burns everything. Gone. These are the things that you have to, you try, you play with. With a comic, you play with it, but you're still playing with pain.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
Do you have a favourite role across the years?
Yeah, Dead Poets Society.
Yeah.
With one of the great directors, Peter Weir, who is an Australian and an amazing, he's a director, but he's also a teacher. Everybody who's ever worked with him comes out a better person. He gave me the greatest advice of all. He said, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
If you listen, like I'm doing right now. Okay, back. But he said if you really listen with intent, you can be quite powerful. And it took so much pressure off of thinking, I've got to be ready to say the next thing. And it was just this idea of inhabiting that just as much as speaking. It was a great gift.
When you're approaching 60, you look happy, you look comfortable, you look...
Yeah, quiet. It's just quiet
peace
life.
with yourself.
Yeah, I'm as peaceful as I could be as a 59-year-old comic. It's kind of like the old joke. Don't rush down the hill, walk down. You have a good time. Life's pretty amazing, especially after rehab and heart surgery. It's really amazing.
The powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse. What will your verse be?
So that was quite emotional.
That was a nice video.
Yeah, and I watch it often when I'm feeling a bit wobbly. I go into YouTube and I watch some of the motivational speeches. There's a good one by Robert Downey Jr. as well, where he's talking about his addictions and stuff like that. So yeah, very good. We've had a great show tonight. There was 58 people watching on Facebook. So only 3 on YouTube, but that's fine. YouTube's just there. It's not as good as what it was. So, but yeah, people are still in the chat. So
we still had a good time. We had a good time.
I want to say thank you, Katie, for coming on.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome anytime, babe. Anytime you want to come on the live, send me a message and I will put you on. Even if you're just like Chris and you chat randomly to a guest, I'll have to put you on. I need someone that can come on time anyway, because
no problem.
Nando doesn't make it on time. Chris,
sorry.
Is there anything you'd like to say? No, you're being quiet. Okay. Nando, anything?
It's been nice to meet you, Katie.
It's
been lovely to have a chat and get to know you a little bit more.
Took a nice time.
You know, definitely do the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You know, when you're out in Africa, definitely do your vlogs. I think that
Oh, I
would be
will.
amazing to
Yeah.
do that. It's been great seeing Chris, as always.
Yeah.
And whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good. No, I'm only joking. It's been good. It's
So
been good.
instead of our normal outro, I'm going to play Man of Mass. I'll take us all off the screen, and we'll just play out to him for tonight, because
see you guys later.
He is very good.
I hope you get the message. Hi, my name is Aaron. Life is getting tough cause I'm fighting with my parents. They don't understand it, what it's like to be afraid of coming out the closet cause I'm secretly gay. I listen to your music, I find it therapeutic, and I don't feel alone when I hear it cause it's soothing. You really seem to get me in ways I can't describe. When I listen to your music, I feel like I'm alive. I'm sorry for the bother, but I'm asking for your help. The pain is hard to deal with, I tried to hang myself. I'm at a breaking point and I wanna end my life, so I'm reaching out to you, asking for advice. When your back's against the wall and you're reaching out for help, you don't know who to call, so you write to save yourself. Fan letters, I pray that your days get better. Fan letters, the words that you write I treasure. Hi, my name's Sam, my husband is abusive. I love your song Brave and I listen to your music. I'm feeling so useless, I need to run away. My body has bruises and I know I'm unsafe. My kid is 5, I taught him how to hide, so when his dad drinks we can make it out alive. I'm sick of all the crying, sick of all the violence, I'm begging for your help, I really need guidance. I'm hoping that you get this and send me a prayer, or give me a response so I know that you care. I feel like I'm a ghost and there's nobody there, I'm stuck inside a loop of a terrible nightmare. When your back's against the wall and you're reaching out for help, you don't know who to call, so you write to save yourself. Fan letters, I pray that your days get better. Fan letters, the words that you write I treasure. Every single letter, every single phrase, every single word that is written on the page, I see it, I read it, I need it to survive. It's fans like you that seem to keep me alive. You give me purpose to help a lot of people. It's really got me nervous cause the world is full of evil. I'm sorry that you're sad and you're hurting inside, and these dark thoughts infiltrate and lurk in your mind. I get the struggle, just know you're not alone. Every day's a battle inside of your war zone. Some people try to hurt you and others throw stones when you're looking for a safe place you can call home. When your back's against the wall and you're reaching out for help, you don't know who to call, so you write to save yourself. Fan letters, I pray your days get better. Fan letters, the words that you write I treasure.